Okay, so this is the dividing polynomials lesson. To divide polynomials, we're going to use long division. So the division algorithm says this: if p of x, which is our polynomial, and d of x, which is our polynomial that we're going to divide with, called the divisor, and d of x is not equal to 0, then there exists a unique polynomial, q of x, which is the quotient, the result that we get, and r of x, which is the remainder, where r of x is either 0 or of a degree less than the degree of d of x, such that p of x equals d of x times q of x plus r of x. And that's just a way to show you that if you take the divisor and you multiply it by the quotient, the result, and add the remaining polynomial, you're going to get the original polynomial, which is called the dividend. The polynomials p of x and d of x are called dividend and divisor respectively. Q of x is the quotient, r of x is the remainder. Okay, so the first step is you have to make sure that everything is in descending order, just like normal. And we're supposed to, for a, divide 6x squared minus 26x plus 12 by x minus 4. And so the way you do that, x minus 4 is the divisor. And so you'll write that right here. And 6x squared minus 26x plus 12 is the dividend. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this leading term right here, and it's going to do the dividing. Okay? So 6x squared right here divided by x gives you 6x. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take the 6x and multiply it back out to both of those terms. So you have to pick up the minus 4. So you get 6x times x, that is 6x squared. And then 6x times negative 4 is a negative 24x. And then you need to subtract those. So you're going to have to subtract the 6x squared and the minus 24x. Well, I like to think of it as adding the opposite. So what I do is I go through and I make that 6x a negative and that 24x a positive. And so now I'm adding the opposite. Subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. So when I do, the 6x squared plus the minus 6x squared cancel, and that should happen. If it doesn't happen, you did something wrong. And the negative 26x plus the 24x gives you a negative 2x. And then you bring down everything that's left. Now the only thing left is the 12. Then you start over. So again, you're going to use this x right here to be the divider. And negative 2x divided by x is negative 2. So then you take this negative 2 and you're going to multiply it to both of these terms right here. And that's going to give you negative 2x plus 8. And then you're going to subtract. So negative 2x minus a negative 2x, and then 12 minus 8. So see how you have to think about the negatives? So what I do in lieu of that is I change both the signs here, and I change subtraction to adding the opposite. So I just go through and change the signs. And that's going to give me 4. So what I do is I say to myself, I draw the line, I change the signs, and that's going to give me 4. Now the degree here was degree 1, and the degree here is 0, and that's how you know you're done. So the quotient, that's 6x minus 2, and the remainder, that's 4. Okay, so if we do another one, okay, it says divide 3x to the 4th minus 2x plus 1 by x squared minus x minus 3. So my divisor is x squared minus x minus 3. My dividend is 3x to the fourth minus 2x plus 1. And you have to make sure everything's in descending order. This goes from degree 2 to 1 to 0. This goes from degree 4 to 1 to 0. Notice how there's an x cubed term and an x squared term missing. That's important to remember and notice. Okay, so again, what we're going to do is we're going to divide by this x squared. And we're going to divide into this first term. So 3x to the fourth divided by x squared is 3x squared. And 3x squared times 3x squared is 3x to the fourth. And 3x squared times a negative x is negative 3x cubed. And 3x squared times a negative 3 is a negative 9x squared. Now we're going to subtract, but I'm going to pick up the speed here. What I'm going to do is draw my line and change the signs. So this becomes a negative, this becomes a positive, that becomes a positive. What I'm doing is changing subtraction to adding the opposite. Then I'm going to go ahead and add these opposites, and that gives me cancellation here. Then notice that these are not like terms right here. So you just put them in descending order. So you're going to collect all four of these terms and put them in descending order. So that would be 3x cubed plus 9x squared minus 2x plus 1. So this is a good example of what to do when you don't have like terms underneath each other. You just write all the terms in descending order. All right, then you start over. So you're going to divide with x squared. And 3x cubed divided by x squared is 3x. And 3x times x squared is 3x cubed. And then 3x times negative x is negative 3x squared. And 3x times negative 3 is negative 9x. And you draw your line, you change the signs. Okay, that's how I subtract. So then these cancel, and 9x squared plus 3x squared are like terms, so that's 12x squared. And then negative 2x plus 9x is 7x. And then you bring down the 1. And you're ready to go again. So we have 12x squared divided by x squared is a positive 12. And now it's time to multiply that 12 to all three of these terms here. So that gives me 12x squared minus 12x minus 36. Then I'm going to draw my line and change the signs and then add. So that gives me 19x plus 37. And how do you know when to stop? Well, this is a degree 2, and this is now a degree 1. So when this remainder degree is lower than the divisor degree, you're done. So q of x, the quotient is equal to 3x squared plus 3x plus 12, and the remainder is 19x plus 37. Okay, so last one, and you can try this one on your own if you want, and pause me and see if you got it right. Notice that the divisor is x minus 3. The dividend is 2x cubed minus 7x squared plus 5. There's an x term missing, so you're going to have to make sure you be careful about adding like terms. Okay, so I'm just going to go through it. So we have x minus 3 divided into 2x cubed minus 7x squared plus 5. So 2x cubed divided by x is 2x squared. Multiply that out and you get 2x cubed minus 6x squared. Draw your line, change the signs. And that gives you negative x squared plus 5. Time to divide again. Negative x squared divided by x is negative 1x. Time to multiply. Negative 1x times x is negative x squared. Negative 1x times 3 is positive 3x. Draw your line, change the sign. They cancel. These are not like terms right here. So you get negative 3x plus 5. Then it's time to divide again. Negative 3x divided by x is negative 3. Now it's time to multiply. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 9 is positive 9. You draw your line, change the signs, and that is remainder negative 4. So your quotient was 2x squared minus x minus 3, and your remainder is negative 4.